here. I hope you're doing great. Live stream number 5. Haha. All right, guys, we're going in order. We got live stream number 5 going on, and we're here with the die hard side. And you know what's going to die hard? The economy. That's right. We got a story out of Reuters. It's entitled "No Happy Dance on the Agenda as the Fed Ponders Resilient U.S. Economy." Do you think the economy is resilient? Do you think it's going to be able to just bounce back? Is it going to be a soft landing? You know, like Biden and all the other politicians are telling you it's going to be okay, very, very soft. I don't think it's going to be soft. Let me know. Type 1 below if it is going to be a soft landing. Type 2 below if it is going to be a hard landing. And we're not going to like it hard. All right, guys, this is the thing. Hit the bell notification. It's already getting warm out here. The ninja's a sweater, and we're going live stream to live stream to live stream. I just want to see what I can do. Now, everybody's voting too so far. Check this out. Here's the story out of Reuters. With the Federal Reserve steaming toward another interest rate hike this week, policymakers face a choice over how much weight to put on recent economic data that has made hoped for outcomes on inflation and unemployment seem more likely, while also posting a risk the economy is too strong to keep prices in line. Very, very interesting. There are a lot of people that I believe right now are actually going out and buying food and storing food because they're seeing the bigger story. They're seeing that inflation is not going away anytime soon, that the Fed is not doing aggressive enough raises to crush the consumer, and they believe that there are food shortages and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of crap in our food system, our food supply. They're actually going out and buying food and storing it. Now, I think that is an excellent idea. Why? Because I believe that there is going to be a panic ensuing in food purchases over the next year, and I would rather you not panic, you go out and do it first, because it is inevitable. They're going to start to store things up. This is what happens in the beginning throes of hyperinflation. All right, the smart people go out and go, you know what? I see the writing on the wall, and the economy is dying, and it's going to die hard. And they're going to go out and they're going to buy food. And then what happens is the sheeple, the idiots, run out in the last thing, and then you have this blow off top. It is actually scary. Those same people were the ones running and going and getting toilet paper and sitting in the line in, Costco, right? Me and my buddy would just sit there. We already had our five packages. I'm like, I'm good for a year. I could eat all the Mexican food I want. And just sit back and watch the show. And that's what I want for you guys, okay? But right now, like it says here, the Federal Reserve is actually stuck between a rock and a hard place because they know that raising these rates are going to crush the economy. And there's a point where just the fools rush in and everything comes down super, super fast. It says, since the U.S. Central Bank's policy meeting in June, inflation has slowed more than expected toward the Fed's 2% target, with many analysts arguing a cycle of moderating price hikes is underway and should continue without further rate increases beyond the 1/4 percentage point hike broadly expected to be announced on Wednesday, tomorrow. But the sense of optimism in a Fed-orchestrated soft landing, a scenario in which inflation falls, unemployment remains relatively low, and a recession is avoided, also has buoyed financial markets in a way that could counter the central bank's aims, something policymakers are likely to guard against with a still tough inflation fighting message, despite the data fighting the message despite where the data has been pointing. The Fed does not want to be head faked by the recent deceleration in inflation and declare victory too soon. And this is from Diane Swank, chief economist at KPMG, wrote on Monday, concluding that the central bank will leave its options open for further increases in in their borrowing costs. Look, the fact of the matter is this. I've told you this. I stand by it. Fed's not done raising rates. Type 3 if you believe the Fed is done raising rates. Type 4 if you believe it is not raising rates any longer, okay? There are a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of economists, a lot of traders are like hoping, and that hopium has turned into delusion where they're like, if they're not going to raise, they're not going to raise. And I am here to tell you, they're going to keep raising, okay? The Fed, even just the notes from the Federal Reserve meetings prove this. Balancing risks. In the 6 weeks since their June 13th meeting, the Fed policymakers have digested data offering a mirror image of what they faced a year ago. At that time, 6 months of contracting economic activity seemed to show a recession developing. Prices were rising fast, and central bankers had accelerated rate hikes to a pace expected to make any downturn even worse. Now the issue is how much blue sky to acknowledge. Last summer's Fed meetings were conducted in an atmosphere of deep concern about a surge in inflation to 4-decade highs and the economy's fate as the Fed tried to expunge it. Since then, the unemployment rate has been little changed at 3.6%. However, stop right there. I believe the government tweaking these numbers is highly deceptive, where we have people that are underemployed, all right? People that are working 2 or 3 jobs to keep going, to make ends meet, okay? So I do not believe these numbers personally. Since it has gone little changed at 3.6%. Growth has run consistently above trend, and still the Fed's preferred measure of inflation has fallen from 7% in June to 3.8% as of this past May. That's still nearly double the central bank's 2% target, and some officials worry it will prove increasingly difficult to cover the remaining ground if the economy remains as resilient as it currently appears. Signs of a slowdown are there, to be sure, and some policymakers expect more weakness is coming. An argument for caution is considering further rate increases, but with monthly job growth still above 200,000 as of June and wage increases outpacing inflation, households may be able to keep spending and foil the consumption slowdown some Fed officials feel is needed in riding out the rest of excess inflation. This is the fact of the matter. We're in that weird storm period where you have inflation, deflation, stagflation going on all at once. People are pulling every which direction, and one of the facts are the savings rate is dropping. Credit card usage is increasing. So where they're getting data like, oh no, the consumer's strong, they're still out buying stuff. No, they're not. They may be buying stuff, and that's showing those numbers increasing, but you have to understand, they're draining their savings, they're raising their credit card balances, which means it's not their money that they're using, okay? And as credit shrinks, that consumer stops spending, so then your data is completely corrupted and crap. That's what they're not understanding. That's not what and a lot of people do, in high ups know that, but they're not going to tell you that. Why? Because they want to keep the hopium going. They want to keep you guys excited. Guys, I hope you got something out of this. Hit that bell notification. I'm going on to what video is this? That's 5. Number 6.